What's up, friends? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome into Attacking Third, presented by CarMax. Wanna Drive? I'm your host in the driver's seat today. I'm Darian Jenkins, joined by Sandra Herrera and McCall Zerboni. We have a very fun show for you today. We're going to be talking about NWSL Championship, the season wrap-up, which feels crazy to say, our favorite moments from the past, and looking for the future, as well as our best 11 from the season. And thank you if you're joining us here on YouTube. Jump in the comments, let us know what's going on. And we appreciate if you're watching on Golazo.net or listening as a podcast. Ladies, can you believe that the season is over?
It's crazy. No to your answer, no. And God bless Gotham for taking it home and having their playoff anthem be Feliz Navidad, because I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It is the holidays.
It's holiday season.
The mark of the holidays is not Halloween or Thanksgiving. It's NWSL Championship week. That's how you know.
Weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, usually as a player, you feel like there's pockets where the season seems like it's going so slow. Like you look up and you're like, oh, we still have so much more to go, so much more on my body. But as a fan, analyst, whatever, it flies by. Like now I understand y'all. When it ends, you want more and more, and it just goes by so quickly.
Yeah, I was even looking at my calendar like, oh, what game do I have this weekend that I'm coming in studio for? None. It's over. It's very bittersweet. It's very, very bittersweet. But I know, as we know, the off season's gonna fly because it's shorter off season every single year. We have big teams coming in, big changes. Hopefully, more big players move over. It's gonna be an exciting time in the NWSL. Well, first off, let's get into championship. The weekend started. The vibes were high. Who do you guys think? What was your score predictions going into this game? I know we did a show last week before we came in. What did you guys say? I said Gotham 2-1.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to say it out loud either, but I was thinking Gotham 2-1 also.
Oh gosh. I think I had a 1-0 scoreline, but I honestly can't remember if it was.
That's raw.
Yeah, but I'm over here like I can't remember if it was Spirit or Gotham. Honestly, I know I had Spirit in my bracket, but I think I also did some rounds of podcasting across the space, and I think I was doing more Gotham and some of these other ones. So it's just they were looking a little different, looking and acting and feeling a little different leading up into this one.
It was a swagger. So obviously Sandra and I were there championship weekend, and I want to ask you about the vibes going into the match. Sandra, you've been to nearly every NWSL championship. You know these teams, you know these players, you know what it feels like to be around the team that you think is going to win. And McCall, one of the most decorated NWSL players, I want you to talk about that too, because obviously Gotham won, but like retrospect, what was it about the vibes of Gotham that made you guys so confident that you were like, oh, I think Gotham's going to do it, even before the game? I
don't know. I think I got to give. Look, I think maybe we should let McCall go first in this one. But I know, like, as far as for me, like on the having done these, if you like, my first one in like an actual like media capacity was in 2016. So I almost sort of feel like it feels right closing the chapter with McCall on this one, because I feel like she's someone that I've had to cover in like multiple NWSL Championship finals, and yet here we are like cutting it up together. But as far as like from the media side of things, I gotta just go ahead and like reveal the secrets. But the vibe check is real. The vibe check ahead of a championship final is real. It's not make believe. It's not cutesy stuff that like people are just throwing around and saying all willy nilly on the player side or staff side or even media side. It's a real tangible thing. It is something that can be seen, felt, and heard. And one of the very cool things in the lead up to the championship weekend is how this event has grown and all the different sort of access points and opportunities that we do get to interact with each other, whether it's players, staff, and coaches, with the media and content creators. And so to take a look at Spirit and Gotham and have some of the interactions that we had, I just couldn't help but feel that Gotham was giving a little bit more like understanding the assignment, and Spirit we're kind of giving a little bit of just like, we're loose, we're having fun, we're playing fancy free, and that's a good energy too. But in my personal experience, I've always noted that the team who tends to be a little bit more about the assignment, and I mean everything about the assignment. I'm talking about the trainings leading up to the championship, the media that you do, which is also a part of your job, how you operate in those spaces, and how you play the game are all factors in like how you come out a champion. And in the past, the teams that are just sort of like a little bit more just like, this is like, we're just having fun, we're cracking the jokes, being fancy free, versus the team that's like still doing those things, but also singularly focused, kind of start to reveal themselves a little bit. And Gotham, for me, we're just giving a little bit more of that than the Spirit this time around.
Yeah, I think I recognize that too. There was a lot of like silly energy. Could be coming from nerves, could be coming from not understanding what a huge moment this is, and that it's going to take all your locked in focus and energy. I mean, I used to, it's kind of like when you watch like inspirational videos and they say, act like a millionaire before you're the millionaire, like envision yourself winning before you're the winner. And I used to tell my young athletes, like when I had a training program, I said, act like a professional way long before you're professional. And that's the best way that you're going to get there. And it's the same way, act like you're a champion and just know that it seemed like Gotham knew that they were going to win. Like even their energy, like entering into the stadium, like the videos they were making, like we're on our way to the championship game, like they're already recording their success and their achievement. And like, that is such a big approach where if you have those nerves and that nervous energy, that doubt, it's basically doubt, right? That doubt will control you throughout the game, whether you know it or not. But if you have this full confidence, like we're going to win this game, no doubt about it, and everybody is on board, that's usually who's going to win the ball game.
Well, before this match, I was trying to do a lot of like reflection on both these teams. And obviously we spoke a lot about the Spirit front five and how they have just found their stride. They're dynamic. They rotate. Rosemont Kawasi, Gift Monday connection is electric. If they're on the ball, they're going to cook. Something's going to happen. And I think when I was looking at Gotham in the inverse, they're still developing that. They don't have the same fluidity in their attack as Spirit do right now. Even after the game, I'm still going to say that. I'm still going to be 10 toes down to that. But when you're a team that defensively is so sound and so bought in to, hey, we can suffer and defend for 90 minutes. We just need that one chance, which they proved throughout the playoffs. We just need that one chance we can do it. That's why I said Gotham coming into this, because I thought they've been through the ringer. They've been through it. They're not going to play the most beautiful football that we're used to seeing them play. They have the edge in that way. And I think that's what came out and proved it. Let's get into the game. First half, both teams came out tight. Both teams did not want to make a mistake. We're going to play safe. We're going to defend. Gotham had that one chance early on where Esther finished it, but it was a very clear offside. But I think both teams just were really, really solid defensively and just kept things locked in. And we didn't get to see much. I was waiting for the changes when one coach was going to tinker and make some sort of change. Did you guys get that same feeling in the first 45?
A little bit, a lot of it, maybe. Honestly, I would almost even argue that, like, I don't know, man. I think when you go watch back this on replay, you might feel a little different. I think Gotham were showing us from the jump that they were going to take those chances. I mean, Rose getting coy and just right off the first whistle, passing to Jaedyn just looking up and saying, "Oh, I'll try this," trying to catch Kingsbury just a little bit off the line, right? And you hear it trickle in the audience. Ooh, and it's not even that it like didn't even hit the post. It was just enough of like people to recognize game.
It's like a warning sign.
Yeah. And they were like, kind of like, wait a minute, like what's going to happen here? But because it is a final, right? It eventually got a little cagey, I think, at times.
I will say the first 10 minutes, I think they both came out like, let's just see, like pedal to the metal. Yeah. Rosemont Kawasi had that cross to Sofia Cantore that she just nearly missed. Esther had that chance. Jaedyn Shaw had that chance. And then I think after that, I was like, okay.
How about you, McCall? First 10
I mean, I thought from the very first minute, Gotham was the aggressor. I thought they were super aggressive. Even like just Jaedyn trying that at the beginning, it says we're on the front foot. And she was an animal in the first half. The first half was Jaedyn Shaw, in my opinion. She was ripping shots, taking chances, and basically it's just so vital for someone like that to be aggressive in the opening floodgates, right? Because then it opens up that inspiration for the rest of the team to follow, even if they do have like a little bit of nerves. And the pressure that shooting puts on your opponent is both mental and psychological, even if it's not on frame, even if your goalkeeper doesn't have to make a save. But when you're just pummeling shots, it's putting fear in the opponent, and it's saying, we're going to attack you. And it puts uncertainty in their soul and creates a little bit of panic. And I think because Gotham started so strong, that it really just didn't allow Spirit to get going, because it put uncertainty in them and they did not act like themselves for the rest of the match. And I feel like that's when Gotham really took control of the game.
So you think Gotham was much more confident, Sandra, coming into like once last 5 minutes of the half, Gotham had the upper hand?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if we're talking about like big 5 moments, I think they had it in the opening 5 and in the closing 5, right? And I think in the middle there was just some questions. It looked, I don't want to say that the Spirit looked unidentifiable or they looked unrecognizable, but if we're looking at the trajectory of these two teams in the playoffs, that semifinal that they had against Portland, unreal performance. I mean, looked like a team ready to hoist on a podium. And yet this final, they go up against this Gotham side and they have no answers. And that's also tough, because I think a little bit about the players in that half for the Spirit who did have really good games. You know, I mean, like Hal Hirschfeld was incredible out there. Seeing Croy Bethune get a couple of those touches here and there and trying to be creative on the ball. Esme Morgan at several points of this game, just kind of taking a little bit of a F it attitude. Let me get on the ball. But that therein maybe starts to show some of the problems or the lack of problem solving, or maybe some of the panic, in that when one of your center backs is the one trying to get on the ball and break this high line or break this press of Gotham, maybe that's the warning flag, the shots fired. It's like your center back is trying to come so much higher to try and find these lanes or find the creative players and open things up, and it just, they struggle.
But she came too central too, like in dangerous areas. But combining both of your points, Darian, you're exactly right. Spirit's way to the final was a lot easier for them, or didn't give them as much challenge, right? So, and then Sandra, you saying that, you know, Gotham has been there before and they know they grinded it out in the last minutes of the game, like really gave them confidence. I think those two huge points allowed them to be the best and the controller on the day.
It definitely felt like the game, like the longer it went on, it definitely just felt like the game was going to come down to a big moment. And again, everything that we've seen in the playoffs from both of these two teams, Gotham probably was a team that looked and felt more equipped, not only to provide but also to handle that big moment whenever it came.
Yeah, I agree. I think too, when you look at these teams, I mean, we got to hear from both coaches before the game, as we do when you're on broadcast. And Juan Carlos said the team that's going to win is the team that adapts, the team that can adapt in real time. And I was like, you know what? Yep. This is it. And I think
somebody's been there before. And you know what? A lot of times you got to play a full 5 minutes without talking to your coach. It's got to be the adaptability of the players. And when players have been there before and they can weather difficult moments in important games. I mean, think about the roster of Gotham FC. Not only on the club level, they have been in intense, high-stake games on the biggest stage in the world multiple times. And so they don't get phased in those moments, and they can weather them and win those lulling moments in the game and make them theirs.
Well, shout out to our producer, Audrey. I just asked her, did Spirit ever score against Gotham all season? Spirit did not score one goal against Gotham. Mind you, in this final, they had 0 shots on target. So looking at this, taking a step back, we can move into the second half. You know, you come in, you say, we need to be on the front foot. We need to be more aggressive. We only have 45 minutes to get this done. Let's get it done. Come out hard. Gotham shut down Spirit's attack. I did a breakdown on the show, and I showed their counter press. Once Gotham loses the ball, their counter press is immediate. It's suffocating. They cut off all the angles. They funnel you into their midfield. They funnel you wide, and then they'll trap you. I also thought Lily Real had a great game. And I think that the outside backs for Gotham didn't take any bad steps. Lily Real ended up getting a yellow card.
Earned it.
Early. Earned it. Very obvious.
Earned it.
But stake your
Almost should
claim.
have gotten a red.
Like, get in there.
No team got a goal in that first half, but Lily Real got a very important yellow card.
Yes. But like, to be fair, she's going against Cantore, right? And to your point, D, like, Spirit's best players couldn't get anything going. Most of Cantore's touches were negative. They were either sideways or backwards. And she really couldn't do anything. And to me, I don't know if I would have kept her out on the sideline if she was struggling like that. Flip her, put her central.
I couldn't help but try to take like a look at like stats during the game, because I'm just like, any minute now, the Spirit and are going to realize that this game started and like they're going to cook like something, right? And I believe maybe between the 20 to 30 minute mark, Cantore had like 8 touches on the ball. And so I'm like, if you're barreling down the half hour mark, I'm like, that's not good.
That sounds like you're in the 9 position, not as a winger. It was a really good battle, I think, that's to me where Gotham was key in this match. I think they shut down as much as they could Kawasi. I think Lily Real did a good job just getting really touch tight to her, picking the right moments to give her space and just cut off angles. Ended up getting the yellow. It was a smart tactical foul. Yeah, because she wrapped around her, sure. But I think that's where Gotham gained a lot of confidence, was immediately, if you don't let them release that pressure and take off on a run, dribbling with the ball at their feet between Cantore, Gift Monday, and Kawasi, they didn't have anything else coming in the attack. I thought Jay Howell did good stepping up to Croy. There was just Croy also still was like dancing around on the ball, still looking great, trying. But at Gotham's defense and the way that they were plugging those holes that we know Spirit operates in was key. And I think what ultimately gave them confidence.
Yeah. What was massive for Gotham FC winning the championship this year and their last 2 matches in their semifinal and their final, they had a brilliant way of muting the opponent's best players. And that's what really got them those victories and got them the championship. All the best players on the other teams that they played seemed like average players and weren't able to have their way with it at all.
I think not getting a goal in that first half already started to like tip the momentum meter another way. And I think it was already maybe kind of even in that, like, you could sort of look at some of the stat lines and say, all right, they're closing out this first 45. It's not that drastic, right? And it wasn't. We're talking about like maybe 48 to 51 on the possession arrows for, going in favor of Gotham, 5 to 3 shots for Gotham. It's like a 2-shot difference, right? But 0 on target for Spirit and 1 on target for Gotham. So you're like, okay, it's like, it's still kind of like if you're one of those coaches that you're like living in the margins of NWSL will lead you to victory, and oftentimes they can. Sometimes like you're like, we're in it, right? You're not completely hitting a panic meter. You're not doing these. But as far as like that momentum, the energy, it's like for me it was definitely trending Gotham's way going.
Yeah.
In this halftime.
Even the first goal in the first half that Astaire scored that ended up being offside. Again, that's the pressure and the fear that it puts into the opponent, and just seeing that ball go across the white line and knowing that you are enduring a lot of pressure. And that's why, honestly, Spirit looks spooked. They felt like they came out, they were like, oh my God, we're here again. Let's not blow it. That was the energy that they came with.
Well, I think too, when we look at the movements from the coaches, this is another point I made. I think the playoffs is when you see which manager makes the right decisions. And it's tough. That is a tough decision to make. And I think when Hal went down, clearly rolled her ankle. Oh, my ankle hurt watching that. Clearly rolled her ankle, in tears. Spirit's down a player for a few minutes. You see Gotham gaining momentum. And Hal, I think, had a good game. She was tackling people. She was aggressive. She was making statement movements. McCall, I know you love that.
Love it.
Making statement tackles, like kind of injecting fear into Gotham. If she's running at you, she is going to wipe you out. She's going to get the ball, but you're going with it. And
They
when she
needed more of
came
that.
out,
She was alone.
they needed more of it. But when she came out and Gotham started to gain momentum, she comes back in. They sub Lily Real because she's on a yellow. Arguably could have gotten a second yellow. Juan went, boom, coming out.
Yep.
Brings in Bruninia.
He's like, she's lawless. Get her out. Get her out.
But to me, when I thought he's bringing Bruninia, Gotham's going to be more aggressive.
Smart.
They're going to be more aggressive. She's going to be up high. She's incredibly right-footed.
And she did. She took a very advanced position when she came into the game.
She wasn't playing left back. She was like a wing back.
Spirit also just weren't getting anything on the wings. And so it's like you look at the timing in which the coaches had the window to make their moves. And you can't help but know which coach made his correctly. And it was a smart decision to have a player for player, positional move like that. And understanding that maybe some of the plot could eventually get lost. Because in that second half, both teams are trying to ball out more at this point, right? You're trying to make the most of your opportunities. And Lily Real, maybe in her first championship final, feeling the heat of and the lights of that moment, right? But your coach, you're on the sidelines, you're like, I know what we could do here because we planned for this. They planned for it.
Yeah.
You can't look at it and say otherwise. They mapped it out. They were like, this game, we're going to try our damnedest to sustain and suffocate, and that organized chaos, and they did it. But in this stretch where we feel like it might be getting away from us, this is what we're going to do. And they did it, and they executed it. Everybody understood the assignment and executed it.
Even small things in the preparation, like watching film or whatever, it seems like, and this is how you exercise yourself as being an aggressor as well. Did Gotham discuss that Aubrey was way off her line all the time for the majority of the game? The amount of times that they tried to chip her was like, they discussed pick up your head if you pick up the ball in the midfield and just chip it over her, like make her scared, put them under pressure. Again, being that aggressor, being that coming with ideas from your coaching staff, from watching film, from picking out areas that you can exploit them. And that all has to do with little details for having an edge in a championship game.
Yeah. Well, what I love too is when Bruninia comes in, Szczepanski sends this beautiful ball. You see Spirit trying to press.
That girl balled.
Bruninia is so high. She's so high. Szczepanski, both-footed, gets her head up, has a touch that sets her back, plays. Guys, for those listening, a long ball, a pristine, McCall, you can speak on this, is so difficult. Right in her stride, Bruninia has a great touch, driving at her defender towards the goal. So Esme Morgan has to step back, frame the goal. 3 scissors. Esme Morgan's feet get caught up. You see Lacey Santos run over, trying to double cover. Hal's at the top of the 18. And this is where I think the coaching, I said it on broadcast, I think the coaching, this decision to not sub Hal.
Pain.
Kind of killed this moment for them. Bruninia cuts it across the 18. Hal lunges. You see it look ginger. And Rose Lavelle comes up late through traffic, hits the perfect kiss of a shot, low far post.
Pain.
Scenes. Eruption. Vibe meter off the charts.
Girl, even to leave a player off the pitch for almost 5 minutes and let your team suffer with 10 men in the last 15 minutes of a championship match doesn't make anybody on that field feel good for your team. Like,
that's where to me, it was the coaching.
It's the coaching. I mean, what's wrong with Narumi? What's wrong with Narumi? You don't think Narumi can come in and play 15 minutes? Love Hal. She's such a good player. There's nothing like her. But maybe Narumi would have brought a little something different where she put a little bit of pressure on Gotham or moved into, because she's brilliant. She's very smart. Moved into spaces that made Gotham think and put them on their heels for a little bit. You know, Hal is sits in front, wins balls. Great. But Narumi could have offset and shifted Gotham a little bit, and maybe they could have grabbed a little control of the game. Like, if the girl can't go, she's obviously hobbling in pain. You're also putting her at risk for further injury. Who knows? But you're letting your team down with that decision as a coach, in my opinion.
That's what you have to do in those positions. You're hired to make those calls, and I mean that's a great shout for excuse me, Narumi. But it again, it also even looked like on the sideline. I mean, Darian, you were at the desk. I was looking at the press box. Like Abiodun had been warming up. So there was this sort of
Freezing at
like
that point.
for
I was
like,
like,
you know, and maybe in the moment you're writing the trends of your season, and Abiodun has been on a little bit of an upward swing for the Spirit. So maybe that's your game plan. You're like, we're gonna go with the hot player and the like for like position. But even then, it was just the lack of urgency to make that move. And I think that was also what was so frustrating, is that you saw the plan, you saw it on the sidelines, and yet somehow 3 minutes go by, 4, 5, you start heading into a 6 minute of this scenario. There are moments where the Spirit try to recycle the ball, and you see like Aubrey Kingsbury and Tara McCown kind of look over to the sideline like, oh, okay, like we still kind of have to kill this off. Why? Because you're allowing Hal Hirschfeld to go through a second and third stress test. You have to make that call as a coach. And in fairness to Adrian, in complete fairness to Adrian, everything about that scenario he was taking full accountability for in the post games. He was like, we lost this game. I didn't make the call, you know, and like that, does that take away the sting? I don't know. Ask the players, but you're in that role for a reason. They gave you the reins of this team because they believed you can do what you did, which was get them to a final and hopefully win it. But you have to make those calls in between, and coaches, that's where you find out who's really made of what's what, I think, in NWSL coaching, because no one, even in those moments, wants to be that bad guy or take away those moments from their players. But it's like there's a bigger goal here at stake, and unfortunately, they're going to be thinking about that moment for a while.
It's the nature of the game, babe. It's the nature of the game. It's tough. But let's give a shout out to Rose Lavelle, winning MVP, the second oldest player to win it since, shout out to J-Mac, who won it in 2018, game of her life. Shout out to our friend, our A3 sister. But I thought Rose was so good. I mean, the roles that I think that watching her take throughout the season, coming back from rehab to then getting minutes, scoring goals, looking confident, connecting the lines, looking like OG vintage Rose Lavelle. Playoffs was shut down just a little bit. But then in this game, she shows up when she's needed, where the team needs her. She's a leader, so humble, coming up and finishing that in that moment. It was clutch. She's clutch. She's like poetry in motion watching her play. I love it.
The thing about Rose is you're not going to get a lot of minutes from her out of the season. You're not going to get a lot of consistent appearances and performance from her. She's always going to have an up and down season in availability. But the thing about Rose is when the moment matters, she will rise. She will be there. She is a winner through and through. The big moments don't scare her. If you know her personality at all, she takes life with a grain of salt, but she takes football very seriously. And it's a perfect combination for her to execute and stay calm in those moments and really have a big game when it matters.
She looked ready, and she was ready. Speaking of her, 2 days ahead, 1 day ahead of the game, that's what I mean, where I'm just like, you had players who know how to have fun, know how to keep it loose, but still understand that assignment and keep it focused. And Rose Lavelle was one of those players. And we have like a record. We have receipts in front of us now at this point where Rose Lavelle gets to a high stakes playoff match and she goes into sicko mode.
Yes.
We saw how she did that for the Reign in 2023. Last year's semifinal for Gotham as well had an incredible performance. And when you needed that player to step up in a big moment, it should be, unsurprising to any of us that it ends up being Rose Lavelle. And she said, she was just like, this is literally what you play for. Like, I asked her, like, what is it about these moments where you just go into like a complete psycho state? And she's just like, yeah, because why not? Like, this is the moment that you play for. And this is where you want to achieve all these things. And you want it for yourself, of course, but more than anything, when you come off of the season that Gotham had, you want it for your teammates as well. So it's on .com. Y'all could read it. You don't even hear me yap about it.
Shout out, Sandra. It's on .com. Someone else I want to shout out, Emily Sonnett. Emily Sonnett. Guys, the superhero jump anticipation. She jumped before Lacey Santos shot the ball, mind you. Put her body sideways, put her hands behind her back, blocked the shot. Spirit, when this was happening, we were all like, oh. That, to me, those are the moments for Gotham. I think we've seen Ann Katzenberger have them. Sonnett's had them all season. the last ditch tackle, the moment where it's life and limb on the line, you see a player throwing themselves just to defend, to block a shot, to get that last touch. That's a championship mindset. That's a championship team where I was like, oh, they're not losing. They won this. If you don't see your teammate throwing their body and you don't want to run through a wall after you see that, shout out to her. Most underrated player on the team for me.
Sonnett, I could talk about her for ages. And you know what? That's not just on the day. She does it at training too. You should see her and I at training. We're both psychopaths that go at it. We slide and block everything. We get up and shout. Like, we're both that kind of player. But Psycho Sonny is the same kind of person. She rises in big moments. But for me, what led to that was when that cross came in from Kawasi and Croy touched it. I think she either should have feinted it or dummied it, because actually that little flick kind of set Santos off, where she was approaching the ball and could have banged that first time. But that little flick gave Sonnett a little bit more time to anticipate and get her body in position to block. But I think Sonnett would have bit at Croy if she dummied it like she was going to shoot or feint, and then Santos would have been a little bit more open. But Sonnett, you're exactly right, Sandra. She's 2 steps ahead of everybody, and she's willing to put her body on the line and do whatever it takes to win. I love me some Psycho Sonny.
We didn't know where this game was. We didn't really know where this game was headed because it didn't have a goal, until after the 70th minute, and just a little bit of insider stuff. Like, we in the media attending the game do get the opportunity to vote for the championship MVP, and they start handing out these pieces of paper, and we're like, okay, so I guess right now at this minute it's a defender, right? And names were getting tossed around, like maybe Esme Morgan, like maybe Sarah McCann, like maybe Emily Sonnett. Like, if this game goes to pens, like, who is the actual MVP of 90 minutes, 120 plus? And it was trending that way, but you end up giving it to the one who wins it, and it's Lavelle.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we have so much to talk about. 30-minute opening segment. I absolutely love it. This game was amazing. The teams played great. Shout out to Lavelle getting the MVP. We have plenty more to talk about, though. We are not done. We're going to reflect on both of these team seasons, as well as giving our way too early predictions for next year after this quick break. What's up, friends? Welcome back to Attacking Third. Okay, let's reflect on these team seasons, and let's start with Washington Spirit, because this is a team that dealt with a lot of adversity, a lot of injuries, players, becoming pregnant and not being able to complete the rest of the season. They've dealt with a lot. Ule Sar has been out for an entire year, still dealing with injury, a player that was huge impact for them last year. Looking at the adversity they faced, getting to back-to-back finals and not being able to get it done, not bring a trophy back to Rowdy Audi. Yeah. Where does Spirit go from here, Sandra? What's next? Also, the Trinity Rodman of it all.
That's the biggest burning question. Everyone was already on Rodman watch, and if they weren't before, they definitely are now. But I mean, this is the sort of painful part of an NWSL season being over. Not even just for the 2 teams who find themselves in the final, but any team along the way. Locker rooms will shift. Moves will be made. Players will depart or not get renewed. And the rosters for the incoming year will look different than the ones you navigated in this current season. So that's the hard part. And I think when you find yourself in those games and you aren't able to bring it home, like you said, like it is that much more painful, because you know that as a professional player, these players that you say, that you've said a million times over in all of your media availability, how much you love them, how much you're unified, how much you want to fight for each other, and you didn't get it done. And now it hurts even more because you know that you might not see that person next to you in the same locker room. So yes, it'll be Rodman watch. But there's also Ule Sar. Like, she was on a contract year as well. Like, that this was a player that arrived on a loan. Like, maybe that doesn't, happen anymore for them. What do the international spots for this team look like? Because they had to figure out a few trades along the way. Will they try to maybe work around that a little bit with players who have been in the States already for some time, like in Narumi, for example? Maybe maybe they find that workaround where a lot of GMs try to find the green card and go ahead and are able to kind of remove that international spot, like get creative with those things. But no, absolutely. The biggest one, 100%, is Trinity Rodman. And it's a tough way to go out because, yes, these are two finals where the Spirit found themselves in. And I think we know better than anyone how short those windows are if you find yourself a quote-unquote good team in NWSL. That's why it is so impressive on the other side of things that Gotham have won 2 championships in 3 postseason appearances, because that window shuts really quickly, just as that Gotham 2023 side. And then you have to find yourself maybe reopening it, another year or 2 down the line. So I don't know, as far as like if they're primed to run it back. I mean, that's the beauty of NWSL. Any team in the offseason could say that they feel like they are, right? But for the Spirit, it just feels like they need to know one or two roster things need to reveal themselves before I think anyone can really say they will run it back.
Yeah, I think that's a good, like, you go through an era as a club, right? Like, you think about the Courage. So good in that era, consistently winning, but it doesn't last forever. And usually how it starts is one player leaves, then another player leaves, another player leaves, and it kind of pulls the plug and it removes that foundation of success. So it doesn't always stay. But as far as Spirit is concerned, as a whole, I thought they were a very good team this year. I remember specifically when I was calling games or chopping them up, that I just was like, they're a good team. They play well together. They're coached well. Seems like they all know where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be, and they had a lot of fluidity. And I think that was their strength throughout the season. But when you think about a trend situation, even though she was away for a majority of the season, that's when the team really found itself within the team, and she came back and helped them. But I will say, when Trin subbed on, she looked scared. It looked like she had fear in her face. I don't know if the moment was too big for her, or, she felt like the game was slipping away from them, or it all was just like, I got to go in and change this game. And, I'm not sure that I can. So what I'm saying is the NWSL challenges her. I don't think she doesn't feel like she's not becoming better here. So for another club in another country to lure her away, and she's unsatisfied. If she would have won this championship, I would have thought, okay, maybe she's going to go and leave because she got her cookies another time and she feels good and she feels satisfied. But she left with a broken heart, and she may want to stay and dig in and earn that championship that broke her heart this year.
She only got one, right? I think that's part of the Trinity Rodman story with the Spirit too. Like, you think back to that 2021 season, and rookies were like the difference maker in that for the Spirit. Trinity Rodman on the wing, Tara McKeown cutting her chops, as a professional. And I think if we're looking at this Spirit window as the Trinity Rodman era, they've been to the final a couple of times already, and they are walking away with one. And it's difficult. That just shows how difficult it is to win in this league. But I don't think those are unfair points. But I also think that those are additional points to make on some of the coaching match that we saw between the two teams. I mean, I do wonder if Rodman coming in, part of the body language was that maybe she was coming in too early, because Cantori was having such a not great game that they had to do something, right? They had to do something. And if the plan was for Rodman to eventually get into this game, maybe she was going in, 10 to 15 minutes too early. And maybe that was some of the like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to do this. Here we go. But But I certainly hope it's not the last time we see Trinity Rodman in an NWSL jersey. And that's all I'll say about that.
I like that. When I think about Spirit's season, I think adversity, coaching change, injuries, pregnancy. Like, there's a lot of big name players out right now. Casey Kruger, Ashley Hatch, Andy Sullivan, players that are veterans, decorated veterans in the league.
Yeah.
And goal scorers.
They were missing them.
Yeah.
But they built a muscle of utilizing their younger players, utilizing players that now have chemistry, bringing in internationals. I think that they're going to be a team to fear next season. This is another building block with the versatility that they have, like McCall, you said earlier. And I think they just need to continue to build on that and have this massive chip on their shoulder of not being able to get it done the last 2 seasons. I would be scared to play Spirit next season because they're going to be incredibly motivated. And I think Adrian Gonzalez is going to reflect on that coaching decision he made, which, hey, this is part of the game. And he's going to grow a lot as a coach from this season.
But you also would have thought that this year, like they were there last year, got it robbed from them. You thought that they would have come back with a vengeance in this final, and they
played tight.
scared.
It was a managerial thing to me. It was a coaching decision. I think he's going to grow a lot from this. You got to risk it to get the biscuit. All right, looking at Gotham, hindsight is 2020, but how crucial was Jaedyn Shaw coming over to Gotham FC for her and for the team?
Huge.
This is where we shout out this is where we shout out the executives, right? Like big shout out to Rivers West. Like, this is where you give the sporting business side of things their due. You have to see it, even if everybody else doesn't. And I think this is like me giving props in like an overarching sort of way. Like, it's in their mantra. They were preaching it on their podium celebration at City Hall, right? Always building, never finish. Like, and maybe looking at what they've accomplished. There's not a damn thing wrong with being built for the playoffs, in my opinion, because they're walking away with 2 titles, even though maybe they haven't found a shield yet in this roster building. But they find themselves very successful in 2025. It's why Jaedyn Shaw, when she came in September and immediately bought into what Gotham was about, it's why she had the quote of the season, because it took her very little time to understand that an 8th place finish in the league doesn't mean anything when you're picking up trophies in an NWSL Championship game, when you're going out and winning inaugural CONCACAF W Champions Cup, when you are putting yourself in positions to represent the NWSL in what will eventually be one of the biggest tournaments in the world, in a future FIFA Club World Cup for women. Like, that is what Gotham is doing here, and it is so incredible to see that. And there just wasn't enough discussion for me about the fact that they did do themselves a double and go out and win that. They won that, even though it was a 2024 the Champions Cup title. They end up winning that game in a 2025 final in back in May, and then they go out and do this in November. So incredible representatives, I think, of the league. And if folks want to somehow find some sort of knock or nitpick at the fact that, like, maybe this is a team that's built for the playoffs, I know a lot of other clubs out there that wouldn't mind being just built for the playoffs. Okay.
Right.
So congratulations to them and to Ava Bushwitz and the entire sporting department.
Gotham's discussion internally for the last 3 years is they want to be the best club in the world. The best club in the world. And that has been their goal. That has been what they've been building. And the matter of the fact is, when you win trophies, you attract players from all over the world. And so you're stacking your roster and you're continuing to increase your value and your depth. And that's exactly what Jaedyn Shaw was. Jaedyn, I'll tell you why, 2 major moments that was game-changing that she came to Gotham. Number one, that header goal, her first game with Gotham that she scored, lifted them over the playoff line, got them those points to become number 8. If she didn't score that goal, they would have not probably made the playoffs. And then she scores that free kick in the playoffs to get them to the next round. You subtract a player like that and you wonder who would have stepped up or what would have looked like. And so big players matter. Bringing new big players and upgrading your roster matters. And when you win trophies, they'll want to come.
Shout out to Ann Kim 2416. She said, yes, you could argue that they underperformed all year, but I guess they performed at all the times that really mattered. They're a playoff team, whatever. You're going to go win a championship, be whatever type of team you want to be if you're bringing home the goods. When I look at Gotham, though, in the same way I look at Spirit, hell of adversity. Roosevelt being out, Midge Purse being out, beginning of the season. They had a lot of injuries. Esther had some knocks. Ella Stevens just came back. We didn't get to see her feature, and she had an incredible year last year. And I can't wait to see her back with this team. But I think Gotham, with all the changes they made, the injuries coming into the season, they had to rely on their rookies. Tierna Davidson, the beginning of the season, tears her ACL again. Devastation. Without those changes and having to force rookies in, hey, we're throwing you to the fire. Here, play a 90-minute game in the NWSL. Welcome to the league. They built something so strong at their core with their young players that a Sarah Shupansky, a Lily Reel, play like veterans by the end of the season. They know how to play. They can grind through 90 minutes. They can deal with changes mid-game without having to be coached from the sideline, but in your first professional year. To me, that is where Gotham and Juan Carlos Amorós got so many things right, is they moved well with their younger players. When their veterans came back, they understood, hey, maybe my role's not to start, but I can come in. I can still learn. I can be a good teammate. I can show up in the moments where I'm needed. I understand my role no matter where it is. And to me, that's where Gotham built their success this year.
That's why each team
has
a healthy blend of veterans and rookies, because those rookies learn from the veterans how to train, how to take care of their body, how to withstand a longer season. The best teams are going to be the ones that have a variety of younger players, youth, and solid veteranship. These clubs that are trying to build with all youth, that's going to be an enormous struggle, because what that does is it puts most of the pressure on the coaching staff. And then there's that lack of liaison from the coaching staff to the youth. There needs to be those veteran players that pipe and funnel the whole narrative and the ideology of the club and the style of play from those leaders and those players that have been in this league for a long time. So, you want youth, but it has to be blended with experience.
Sandra, any thoughts on Gotham's rookies and how important they were for the season?
I don't know how. I don't know how she keeps doing it, but Avery Bush West just keeps doing it. Like, she just has an eye for the talent, bringing them on board. I'm very curious how this offseason will go, because the thing about signing a couple rookies is that you sign them on rookie contracts, and interleague trades are a big thing now, and they have to take a look at their roster and see how they want to continue to build, because they're never finished, right? Like, that's a matter. Like, where do they fit? How do the books look? The salary cap is what it is. It'll get bumped up a little bit, but where do things fit? And you also have to make those hard decisions. It's like, is this a season where some of your players on rookie contracts have high value and you can get a high value return for them? And there's 2 expansion teams coming in. Are they taking a look at roster, at Gotham's roster? So I think that's how good they are. And this is all a compliment. Like, yeah, of course, like, any Gotham fan is going to hear this and be like, no, they're ours and they're on contract and want to keep them here. But like, this is sporting business, baby. It's the off season. It's the most wonderful time of the year. These are the calls and conversations that are going to be had and being taken right now, probably. And so that's why it's always so special when you do win those titles together, because those teams don't always look the same.
2 stars now. Yep. 2-time champions, Gotham. Are they a dynasty? Can we call Gotham a dynasty?
Yes.
McCall?
I'm going to challenge them to win a shield. I think they need to win a shield to really exercise and flex in this league.
I like that. I'm caught in the middle. Yeah, I'm caught in the middle. But I agree. I think winning a shield, as important as that is in the league and what that does for you going into a playoff, yeah, huge. Okay, way too early predictions. We're going to make these rapid fire. Do Gotham look primed to repeat? McCall, you start us off.
Yes.
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes, they do.
Will Spirit make another run to the final? I'll start. Not next year.
No.
Nope.
Not to the final. Maybe they get to the playoffs, but they don't make another run to the final.
Nope.
Have we just seen Trinity Rodman's last match in the NWSL for a while? Not ever, just for a while. Sandra?
No.
No. She's sticking with us.
Who looks best positioned to win the Shield next year? McCall?
There's too much player movement about to happen.
Yeah, I know.
Can't say.
That's why it's way too early prediction.
It's about to be chaos.
Don't get me clipped and posted, Darian. Okay.
Shout out to our producer Audrey. She wrote these.
Winning the Shield next year. Goodness.
It's rapid fire. Come on.
Yeah, well, you broke my brain. I mean, Casey can maybe do it again. Even if I don't know what's going to happen with Bia Zanerato. I know they got to figure some stuff out there, but I almost might, you know what? Orlando Pride. Forget it. Just Banda will be back. They'll run it back. Banda will be back. Ovia will look different with Banda. Orlando Pride will win the Shield.
I'm saying Orlando too. That's who I had.
Cute, you guys. Wow. I think Kansas City is going to do it again. They're going to do it again.
That's a good shout.
Because they're going to be so hungry to win a championship, and that's their ticket to do it.
I like that. Yeah, those two teams, I think, are going to be really hungry after this last season. They're going to have the biggest of chips on their shoulders, along with Spirit. But for some reason, I'm rocking with the Pride. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to go fall back, spring forward, and talk about some of our favorite moments of the season. So stick with us after this quick break.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount+.
Welcome back to Attacking Third, friends. Let's talk about our favorite moments of the seasons. And hey, if you're in the chat right now, let us know some of your favorite moments, because it was a long year, a lot of storylines, a lot of big moments, a lot of records being broken. So let us know what were some of your favorite moments. But Sandra, you don't have to pick one. You can pick a couple. What are some of your favorite moments of the 2025 NWSL season?
Good, because I'm ready. No, I'm here for it. Players balled out this season. It was so much fun to watch. Especially in that second half of the season where like everybody just got a bit of a reset and we're like, let's go. I loved Ludmila's hat trick in like second half, 10-minute span, popping off 3 goals. It was like, what is happening here? We want to talk about like games that like can represent some of the chaos of NWSL, like,
and the backflip of it all.
That hat trick in the backflip to sort of cap it all off. Incredible stuff. And also like Trinity Rodman's comeback goal. Like she had to manage so much of that back injury, and she was missing for a long time, but to get back into a game and score what was ultimately a game winner, like huge moment for Trin. It just sort of felt like this was the return and the comeback that we were going to see. And unfortunately, she picked up a different injury along the way, which kind of spoiled the fun of all that. But I loved these sort of goals that kind of felt like arrivals to the league. And I would also include Rebecca Bernal in that. The Spirit should hold their heads high. They had an incredible season, and we're not putting enough love and respect on the Challenge Cup. They got some revenge pretty early in this season, and they took it to Orlando and walked away as Challenge Cup winners. And Bernal subbing into that game, getting her first ever minutes in a league and nailing her penalty kick so that they can kind of lift one of the 3 titles that were up for grabs this year, I thought was massive. You love to hear it. You love to see it, especially for me. I mean, I'm always here to celebrate all the Latin players in this league. But for, a very, very long time ago in the old era, in the old decade of NWSL, there was a very sort of, in my opinion, very kind of wrong, corrosive, incorrect narrative about Mexican internationals in the league as they entered as partners and allocated players. They just didn't get minutes, and the argument from coaches were that they couldn't hack it, and so kind of gross, right? And so here we are seeing players actually get opportunities and making the most of it. And I love that Bernal was such an impact player from her debut to the final. So great stuff from everybody.
Yeah, I love the Feely stuff too. Like when Trin scored and got emotional. So for me, I chose the Louisville underdog story and clinching playoffs for the first time.
So
that's so impactful, so monumental, goes down in the history books, but it also just has so much emotion behind it and just the way that they earned it, not having a ton of superstars on their team and being that like grinded out, hardworking, it's not like they went and bought these enormously expensive players and then all of a sudden made playoffs. No, they figured out what their ideology and their system was as a team, and they dug it out and earned every point to clinch the playoffs.
Shout out. They broke the curse of 9th place.
Great.
They broke it. I know we were all in our feels when that happened, especially for shout out Bev Yanez, friend of the show, former teammate, now coach. Absolutely love her, first of all, just being vulnerable and the success she's had at Louisville and the buy-in she's gotten from players that were also her former teammates playing against her. Like, that's not an easy job. So she's one of the ones for me, but I want to shout out Roxy Lola's mama because she said Marta's extra crazy eyes. That was one of my first ones. Marta karate chopping the ref cam.
Incredible. Incredible.
I know I'm like thinking a silly one, but it was so funny and so Marta and like just iconic of like,
that's so good. Honestly, like it's crazy to think like the season's so long, but it's so crazy to think that like some of like the two that y'all pick were like these kind of playoff moments, but like they're so good, man. They're so good.
I have another playoff moment as well. The Mandy Freeman of it all.
Oh man, you talk about some captain.
Gotham won in 2023. Mandy didn't make the roster for the game. She was up in the stands with me, some other friends, watching the game in San Diego, watching her team win. This year, Mandy Freeman is not only starting the game, she's rocking the captain's armband, and to me was one of the unsung heroes of the game. Mandy didn't take one step wrong. Trinity Rodman comes into the match, and she is keeping her feet moving. She's blocking crosses. She's getting her body in the way. She's breaking lines with her passes. She was a leader on and off the pitch. A difficult season, and I just think watching her get to win with the captain's armband, it is iconic. Stayed at the club here. It was the cherry on top of a season, and a very good trophy for our girl man.
Claps all around, claps in the chat for Mandy Freeman. I think that was also what was just really cool about Gotham this year. Like they had those vets with all this lore behind them. I mean, we talked about Katie Stengel and like her getting that game winner like early in the playoff run for Gotham, and then to see Mandy Freeman kind of have this kind of comeback story of her own. I mean, I had said in an earlier episode that like that is what I look forward to the most when I see these playoffs, when I see rosters and you can pluck out veterans who maybe have had the opportunity to be in these moments before, but maybe not in the ways that they wanted for themselves. Like I remember like shouting out Erin Wright when we got her for a post-game interview.
Yeah.
And just being like, it's not the playoffs unless Erin Wright is in it, because she had been there so many times before, but like hadn't been with Louisville yet. Or like Casey Kruger with the Spirit, like getting back in a final and finding herself with an opportunity once again. Or in this case, a Mandy Freeman, who had been with the team that nobody wanted to find themselves on. You both can attest to that. Nobody wanted to be at Sky Blue in the time that it was Sky Blue, but she came into this league off of a high draft class and found herself drafted by the club with the picks at the time. And you talk about sticking with the vision, and not only sticking with it, but helping that picture come to life. incredible stuff. You can only write that kind of stuff here in NW.
Yeah. That's the NWSL baby. Shout out to Mandy Freeman.
Love
We love
her.
you, friend of the show, dear friend. Let's talk about what else we're looking forward to next season, because it's coming around the corner. It's going to be here quick. Gotham barely has an off season, mind you. I think that they're back traveling early January, and everyone else has like four more weeks of a break.
Shout out to that celebration, because they had to get it in because some of these players had to go to international camps. Crazy.
Yeah, no break. But let's look at what we're looking most forward to next season, which, Sandra, why don't you kick us off? Because we've got a lot of exciting stuff underway in the NWSL.
We're already talking about story arcs, and we were like shouting out Mandy Freeman, but like I want to see more of those. I'm 100% here for the comebacks. This is NWSL. We love the comeback story, and we're gonna hopefully witness many of them during 2026. I mean, Barbara Banda and Temwa Shawinga, hopefully getting to see how they look upon their return from their injuries, but also like new moms like Sophia Wilson, Mel Swanson, like watching them get back into the mix of things. Yeah, and how they're gonna just how they're gonna make things look on their teams, whether it's Ashley Hatch for the Spirit, or Mel Swanson for the Stars, or really Soph Wilson wherever, right? Because that's one of those players that folks are gonna keep their eye on. That's another player that folks are wondering, what's happening there. But I'm here for it. The comeback story is my favorite story, and I can't wait for all of them.
Yeah. I mean, kind of building that a little bit is, for me, just watching the player movement and the team building for the 2 new additional teams, which players from overseas join the NWSL. I always get really psyched about that. And then just how it all shakes out with expansion teams and no college draft and free agency abundance and player trade choice and no expansion draft. Like, there's just going to be so much shifting and topsing and turning. And I think it says a lot about, the clubs that are thriving and where the players want to go. And, or are they about the money? Are they want to take a team from the bottom to the top? Like, there's just so much that it says and goes into it. So I'm really excited to see who lands where and who comes.
Yeah, I love that. Shout out to Mark Says Hi. Producer Mark, he's back in the chat. He said the new kits.
Yep.
Which, cannot wait for the new kits. Hey, if you guys are listening, send them A3's way. We'll wear them on the show. Come on, we love a kit. We love a kit show. What I'm mostly looking forward to, McCall, you said it, expansions. I cannot wait to see what these 2 teams do between Boston and Denver. We have Atlanta coming in what, the 2 years. But I still am so excited because the standard to make a team in the NWSL has to be so high now. You've got to put money behind it. You need female-specific facilities. You need proper investment. You need all the high-tech-ish that every team has now to come into the league. It's no longer just a donation, a whatever. Hey, we own a women's sports team. No, it's a good business decision. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these owners do, players that come in, how they're going to change and push the NWSL forward, and just get to see some new teams, some new faces on these sides. And I love it. We love the growth. And it wouldn't be a 3 unless we did a best 11 at the end of the year. So of course, we love the growth. We love the best 11s, and we're going to bring that up right after this quick break. So stick with us. Maybe,
or we could just do it now.
Let's rock into it. Let's rock into the best 11. I'll start because, of course, I love the forwards. I'm gonna rock with the forwards. I'm going Temwa Shawinga because duh. Esther because iconic season. Maybe not so much in the playoffs. She dealt with some injury, but led Gotham in the season. They would not be making playoffs without her goal contributions early on. And Gift Monday. I'm throwing Gift Monday up there. I thought she was incredible. Someone that didn't get enough flowers throughout the entire season. Maybe just these last couple weeks in the playoffs, people started to talk about her more. But to me, she was one of the most crucial players for the Spirit that led this. Her and Kawasi, but Gift obviously got more of the goals. So I'm going to rock with her as part of our forwards. But I thought she was standout, besides not getting the flowers that she deserves. So I want to give them to her now. So I've got Temwa, Esther, and Gift Monday.
Gift was a good shout. She was such a great addition. addition to the Spirit this season, coming in halfway through. Like, it literally was a gift, a present that they got. Like, she lifted them in so many enormous moments. Okay, I had midfielders. So Manaka. I just loved watching her finesse, her class, her ability to do it in all ways. She played in all 26 matches, 11 goals and 4 assists. I'm sorry, but you belong in the best 11. My next one is Jaedyn Shaw. Jaedyn Shaw, baby. She had the best season of her life and was so prime and pivotal for Gotham in that number 6 position. She played 25 matches, had 4 goals. Anytime your holding mid gets 4 goals or more in a season, you're doing the most for your squad. That is massive. That is massive stuff. And she got an assist. And Moultrie is going to be my number 8. Played in all 26 matches, 8 goals, 1 assist. Really came alive this season when she had her back against the wall, losing, 2 major veterans. And then all of a sudden there was a lot of expectation and pressure on her, and she rose. And then I have 2 honorable mentions. Our girl Lowe, I mean, come on, just incredible. Played massive amount of minutes for them. And her U.S. Women's National Team call-up record breaker. That's how good of a season she was having. She has to be in there. And then my last one is Haley McCutcheon. She played, you guys, 2,357 minutes this season for Orlando in regular season. I mean, that is an enormous amount of minutes. She played in every game, was a soldier out there, and she scored a playoff goal. That's what you want from your midfielders in the most important moments, so she has to get mentioned for me.
I think those are great shouts. This is definitely like, it's end of the year vibe, so I'm almost just like, oh, like we're gonna do like a second 11, right? Like, where all these other players are gonna roll over and be on. I mean, like, it's hard to argue with any of these, and I'm not going to. Like, all the shouts for forwards and midfielders are amazing and honorable mentions, but it's almost like, it's crazy to think how, like, Delphine Cascarino, right? Like, maybe a shout for the forward line as well. But I love the shout for Gift. I mean, massive boost to the Spirit, but honestly, just a enormous addition to the league. Like, African players coming to NWSL and absolutely changing the look and feel of games in this league. Understated, will always be understated. So I love the Gift Monday shout. I even love the Moultrie shout, honestly. McCall, like, I know some people are gonna get like, that's spicy to have like Moultrie like over like coffee, but I also love that we do these in a way that's like it's like a 4-3-3, but it's also like you're thinking formational and positional.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how hard it was for me on goalkeepers and defense to just not choose like 4 center backs, and I'm like, no, I got at least like one fullback in here. So for me, I'm giving the honors of goalkeeper to Lorena. I thought she had an amazing year. We talk a lot about these internationals and how they come to the league and how they're going to look. Looks like she didn't need too much time to adjust, and I think a huge part of that is because some of the players in front of her. So I'm also giving shouts to Izzy Rodriguez on that back line and Kayla Sharples as well, having to really deal with a lot of rotation on that back line at times. And unlike current teams in the past, didn't look like it phased them because they had these incredible performances out of Sharples and Rodriguez. But I'm also going to give shout outs to 2 other center backs, of course, and Emily Sonnett. Incredible season, just consistent across the board. And Tara McCann, we're just watching a real rise in profile for her as kind of just this bona fide defender, former forward turned defender now. So congrats to everyone who made any of our team of the weeks and our best 11s. But
I want to make 4 best 11s, but we just can't do that.
We just can't do it. But we also got to pick a coach. D, who you got?
We got to pick a coach. I'm still rocking with Bev, you guys. I'm still rocking with Bev Yanez. I think what she's done with Louisville, how she's developed the team, you see the joy that they play with, the buy-in from the players, and how she's grown as a coach, I think has been incredible. And I think for the growth of the league, for the growth of women's coaches going professional and former players becoming professional coaches, she has created the blueprint of how to do that and how to carry yourself. So to me, I'm giving Bev the shout. I don't know, who else do you guys have? Is there anyone else?
No disagreement, Bev, for sure. I'm going to tell you right now, it's harder for them to get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
she had to be an assistant for way longer than she needed to be. Second assistant, then a first assistant, then a head coach. I mean, she had to put in her time, whereas other people are just kind of escalated to the top easier and faster for sometimes God knows how and why. But she had to put in her time. And hopefully the path clears a little bit more for ex-players to go a little bit faster.
Yeah, I can't help but echo those sentiments. I mean, being at the award show and getting to chat with her a little bit, like that sort of feels what this is like. It feels like a little bit of that breakthrough. And I hate at the same time, at the same breath that we celebrate that, I also hate it, right? It's like,
Yeah,
we have to see women shatter and break down these doors or through these ceilings in order to be like, have the bare minimum conversation of like, what do opportunities look like for women in this league, right? So it's hard to take that away. The other part of that for me though is I'm looking at Bev Yanez and I'm like, God, like what does she do with a team and a club that will give resources, pour in resources, and like make sure that they're always staying ahead of the curve in the game in terms of roster building and things like that. So it's hard to take that away. But Vlatko and Kansas City Current had an incredible season. They did something that it's going to be very hard to ever match again in NWSL history. And the man, listen, Juan Carlos Amoros, this man just won his second NWSL championship. We cannot walk away with giving the honorable mention, at least there. He was right. Listen, I love our team of the weeks, and he was definitely poking fun. He's like, "Hey, what's up, team of the week?" I'm like, maybe this is it. I don't know. It sounds like I'm 2 against 1. It sounds like we're going for Bev.
And his 4th trophy with the club.
Look at that. And it sounds like, I don't know. It feels like, or sounds like we might be breaking this man's heart.
Can we have two? Can we have two? Like
maybe we make him honorable captain. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe we make him coach or Bev honorable captain. Like we could swap them. Like I'll let y'all choose.
Well, for honorable captain, we usually have like 3 or 4 people. 3 or 4 people.
I don't think y'all are gonna do mine. So
let's just do 2 coaches, Bev and.
Let's do 2 coaches,
right.
Bev and Juan.
Bev and Juan.
We have to. Okay. Bev and
right.
Juan. Sorry, there's no rules, guys. It's A3 best 11. We can do what we want. Don't be mad.
We really can. What do you got for honorary captain?
Yeah, McCall, you kick us off with honorary captain.
I'm sticking with midfield. She just needs to be mentioned. Taylor Flint had the best season of her life. I thought she was so important to that Louisville side and also didn't get enough love. But the way she broke up plays, controlled the midfield, even got in the attack at times, protected the back line in the front and that underbelly. I thought she had an enormously good season and played major minutes for them as well. So I definitely want to shout her out.
I love that. Yeah, a player that I think when we talk about similar to Sam Coffey, that maybe doesn't get all of the number stats, the flashy moments, but that truly defines how the team plays. And I agree. I love the Taylor Flint shout. Sandra, who do you got?
I'm showing love here to the supporters, to the diehards, to the day ones of this league, of its clubs. You know, I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, I've had the honor and privilege of my life attending now 9 championship finals, and everyone has been indifferent. And sometimes they were rocking, and other times they were lopsided. And I loved the energy in San Jose. I thought it was really good with their sellout at 18,000 strong. There was really nice tone of like dueling support. You can hear Spirit fans going off and then Gotham fans going off. The free DC chant in minute 51 making its way to San Jose. Just like very, very present, self-aware, mindful, good people watch and support this league. And I just want to shout them out as honorary captain.
Big shout out.
Sandra, we're thinking alike today. I had NWSL fans.
Let's go.
Talk about
you guys.
Yeah, talk about a neutral site between these teams across the country for both of these squads. Selling out a stadium. What men's sports team is going to have opposing fans fly out and sell out their stadium? What
East
other
Coast
sports?
teams?
2 East Coast teams flying across the country. And mind you, just other NWSL teams going around to FanFest, to stuff with the dope. Wherever I was, I saw people with Courage hats, with Louisville jerseys, with with Houston stuff. Like, it didn't matter what team they were on. They were here to support the women's game and just show up at the final and just be a fan. So to me, NWSL fans are my honorary captain for the season. I thought
we have arrived.
This league would not be where it is without the support of the fans who have always been for the players and with the players. And this weekend proved it. So that's who I wanted to shout out as my honorary captain.
Hundo P.
Yeah.
Hundo P.
Yeah, we got to go with it. Like we got to go with the fans. Yeah, shout out to anyone who like. I know you got this a lot too, D. Like shout out to anyone who stopped us, said hi, thanked us for the work. Yeah, we see you, Skander, Honorable Captain A3 podcast. Y'all keep us updated and keep the league sport growing, whether you guys know it or not. And like we don't always know that, right? Sometimes we're so tapped in and talk about understanding the assignment and staying focused. Like we want to do these shows, we want to do this reporting, we want to like talk about the game. So it is really nice when we see have those moments where people do let us know. Y'all don't ever really tell me your names. I always hit them with that. They're like, Sandra, I love the work. I'm like, what's your name? Like, I don't know who you are, but you know mine. Like, so yeah, shout out to anyone who was stopping me or UD and just spreading the love. They're great.
Yeah.
They're great.
To all our listeners, thanks for flying with us all season. It was so much fun. You guys make it much more richer and much more better. So thank you.
Yeah, we love y'all. Well, mic drop, everybody. What a show. What an NWSL season. Everybody in the comments are watching along, listening along. We appreciate you all so, so much. And we already cannot wait for NWSL 2026. It's going to be crazy. Let us know your thoughts. And of course, Attacking Third, we're never done. We're never going to be totally off. We're just holding off on NWSL for a little bit. We'll be back for next Friday at 9 p.m. after the conclusion of the U.S. Women's National Team after they take on Italy in Orlando. Make sure you tune in, catch us, make sure you let us know what you think about the episode. And of course, we appreciate you guys so, so much, sending you all a lot of love. From McCall, Sandra, Audrey, and Phil, I'm Darian, and this was A3, baby.